She wasn't an engineer. She wasn't a designer. She didn't race the cars. But without Alice Fenton, there's a good chance Jaguar wouldn't be the legend it is today. Born with piano skills and a work ethic that could put anyone to shame, Alice started out in a music shop in Blackpool, playing piano in the window to pull in customers. That's some early marketing genius right there. In 1925, Alice joined the Swallow Sidecar Company, which, if you didn't know, would eventually become Jaguar. By 18, she'd moved to Coventry, chasing opportunity with nothing but her shorthand, typing skills, and a whole lot of determination. She started as a junior office assistant, then personal secretary to William Lyons, Jaguar's co-founder. But make no mistake, Alice wasn't just taking notes. She was helping run the show. She even posed as a model in publicity photos for the Swallow coach building arm. No sales team? No problem. The sales department was Lyons and Fenton. She handled the agents, sorted the deals, and helped push Jaguars out the door faster than the competition could react. When war hit, Jaguar shifted to aircraft parts, repairing Whitleys, building components for Spitfires and Lancasters, and Alice, still at the heart of operations. But it wasn't all engines and spreadsheets. Alice loved the theatre, literature, and ballroom dancing. She once said she danced in every ballroom in the Midlands. Now, that's commitment. Post-war, Jaguar exploded onto the scene. Alice rose with it. In 1956, she shattered the glass ceiling, becoming the company's first female director and the highest-ranking woman in Britain's motor industry. Not bad for someone who started with a typewriter and a piano. Sadly, in 1960, just days before her 50th birthday and a planned trip to the New York Motor Show, Alice passed away from a cerebral hemorrhage. She never made it to the US, but her legacy, unshakable. Today, Fenton Road, near Jaguar's Browns Lane plant, bears her name. It's not just a street sign, it's a reminder that real legends aren't always behind the wheel. Sometimes they're the ones making sure the wheels keep turning. Connie Teather, née Dixon, was right there in the thick of Jaguar's earliest days, side by side with Alice Fenton. She answered a telegram from William Lyons at age 17 and left Blackpool for Coventry, joining the Swallow Sidecar Company just as it was finding its feet. She shared digs and a lively social life with Alice, working long hours and still making time for dancing and learning languages to support the company's European growth. She later became secretary to Mr. Whittaker in the sales department. In 1936, she left Jaguar to marry fellow early employee Harry Teather. Decades later, she typed her memoir, A Swallow Summer, on a petite Olivetti typewriter Harry gave her in 1953, capturing the story of working women in the pre-war British motor industry, with all the grit, laughter, and late-night dictation. And just when you thought Jaguar's story couldn't get any bolder, in walks Joska Bourgeois, described as a young woman of imposing countenance and unavoidable presence. And trust me, she lived up to it. Joska grew up between Belgium and the Middle East. Her father, a diplomat and importer, showered her with gifts until she literally owned her weight in gold. And no, that's not a metaphor. During World War II, Joska joined the Belgian resistance and reportedly escaped her captors thanks to a Jaguar SS saloon. So yes, in her case, the getaway car really was a Jaguar. In 1945, legend has it, she marched into Jaguar HQ, demanded a 5-year dealership deal from William Lyons, and refused to leave until she got it. That's one way to negotiate. She sold Jaguars across Europe through her company, the Belgian Motor Company, for 30 years. Lyons didn't partner with just anyone. His daughter Patricia later said Joska's business style was masculine and purely professional. No charm offensive, just hard numbers and results. Joska eventually retired to Geneva, leaving behind a £35 million fortune and a trail of impressed, and probably slightly intimidated, businessmen. 3 very different women, one shared legacy. They didn't just support Jaguar, they helped build it. Not from the driver's seat, but from the ground up. Before the cars, before the fame, there was a party in Blackpool. It's 1921, and a not-quite-20-year-old William Lyons meets Greta Brown. He's got ambition, sidecars on the brain, and one eye on the future. She's smart, poised, and interested. By 1923, his Swallow sidecar business with William Walmsley is taking off, and so is his relationship with Greta. The two are married in 1924 at St. Stephen-on-the-Cliffs in Blackpool, followed by a honeymoon motor tour of Scotland. Naturally. Back home, Greta becomes his quiet force, sounding board, supporter, and the steady hand behind the scenes. Lyons may have built the brand, but Greta helped hold it together. She was a trained teacher, and thanks to her, William eventually got over his fear of public speaking. Not bad for someone steering an empire through grit and horsepower. The couple eventually moved into Wappenbury Hall, their home, and Lyons' escape from the pressures of Jaguar. Their receptions there, still spoken of with awe by those lucky enough to attend. In 1937, Greta took delivery of her own Jaguar, chassis 12462, registration CDU 700. She even drove it in sporting events and loved every minute of it. The car was replaced in '46, but CDU 700 was stored at Wappenbury and became known as the Lady Lyons car. In 1984, the Lyons celebrated their 60th wedding anniversary. Sadly, Sir William passed in early 1985, and Lady Lyons followed just a year later. Her role may have been behind the scenes, but Jaguar's story wouldn't be complete without her. Pat Lyons, the other Lyons in the fast lane. She wasn't destined to run the company, but Pat Lyons, daughter of Jaguar founder William Lyons, made her mark, in the passenger seat, at the office desk, and later walking through green pastures with prize-winning livestock. Patricia, though everyone called her Pat, was the eldest of the Lyons children. Unlike her brother John, she wasn't expected to step into a leadership role at Jaguar. But that never stopped her from stepping up. Her education was interrupted by the war. She dreamed of studying agriculture, animals, farming, open fields. But in the late 1940s, agricultural colleges didn't admit women. Her dream had to wait. In the late 50s, Pat joined Jaguar's export department in London, right in the thick of it. American demand was booming. Factory strikes at home were delaying shipments. Tempers flared. Even a few famous Hollywood clients were left empty-handed. And Pat, she simply lent them her own car. But it was in motorsport where she truly came alive. After marrying rally driver Ian Appleyard, Pat became his co-driver, and not just a passenger, mind you. She was reading maps, managing pace notes, and calling every twist and turn at speed. Their car? A factory-supported Jaguar X-Cave 120 with the now iconic registration NUB 120. Lightweight, powerful, and sleek, it became a symbol of British rally dominance in the early 1950s. Together, Pat and Ian competed in over 20 international rallies. And they didn't just show up, they won. Big. In the Alpine Rally, one of the most grueling in Europe, they pulled off a stunning hat trick. 1951, 1952, and 1953, completing the event 3 years running without a single penalty. That earned them the Coupe des Alpes Gold Cup, a feat no other team in an XK120 ever achieved. They also tackled the Monte Carlo Rally, where sheer endurance and navigation were everything, and the Tulip Rally in the Netherlands. High-speed stages, tight corners, and unforgiving terrain. Through it all, Pat's cool under pressure made her one of the most respected navigators in the sport. And while NUB 120 stole the spotlight, they also campaigned Rub 120, another early XK 120 used in several events and trials during that golden period of Jaguar's rally history. Years later, she remarried, becoming Pat Quinn. She helped raise a blended family and finally returned to her first love, farming. On her Gloucestershire land, she bred award-winning sheep and cattle, living the life she'd once been denied. Pat Lyons never ran Jaguar, but she shaped its story, through grit, grace, and a spirit that never backed down. Not every legend sits in the driver's seat. Some guide the way, just a step beside it. These are just a few of the remarkable women behind Jaguar. You'll find more stories, and the source of much of this material, over at the Jaguar Daimler Heritage Trust website.